Get goes everybody, because today we'll continue on with a game called Caught in Her Web. Let's load it up. Yep. We spent the rest of the day talking about our interests in our classes. By the time we were finally getting ready to leave, I had a feeling that Sam was getting upset about our loitering. Or at least if a similar couple spent this much time at my workplace, I would have been annoyed. Oops, zero regrets though. Jane was just slowly gathering herself, causing me to start to fidget. I really did not want to be pushy. In fact, pushiness has been cited as the number one reason why my exes have broken up with me. But I just couldn't leave without the reassurance that the connection I felt between us was mutual. I had a great time today, an amazing time even. I just wanted to make sure that Jane did too. I had a great time today. Thanks for agreeing to a date with me, Jane. Of course, I had a good time too. And likewise, thanks for asking me out. That sounded a little too polite. Oh God, what did I do to scare her off? I'm such an idiot. No, don't despair yet, Camellia. Maybe don't be super pushy, but you need to push a little bit. So which is it? So, did you want to do this again sometime? Well, I'd love to, but it's hard to find a consistent time I would be available. You know, between classes and my job. My heart sunk. I couldn't believe it. I was so dense that I didn't notice her softly turning me down. The fire I called love flickered, but it was still blazing hot. Yes, this was love I felt for her. I couldn't just let her go so easily, even though I had so much exes and stuff. That would be a betrayal of everything I believed in. How about next weekend? I'm okay with meeting up at any time. I'm available all day on Saturday and Sunday, so if your work schedule changes, we can just adjust what time we meet up. I'm even okay with meeting up at midnight if that's the only time you're available. Jane seemed to think about it. Think. It doesn't have to be a long date either. It can't just be a short date around campus or something. I just enjoy spending time with you. Sure, let's do that. Really? Jane giggled. Really? Yes. Not even the news breaking on 1 a.m. 3 days later could deflate my mood. I found myself constantly glancing at the clock during my classes and work shifts, just counting down the minutes until my second date with Jane. My second date, if I couldn't believe that I was so lucky that I could go on not one but 2 dates with a woman as perfect as Jane. My face threatened to split into a grin as the thought, but I quickly forced my facial muscles to behave when I caught sight of Anna, rushing into the classroom, a grim expression on her face. Camilla, did you see the news? You mean about our professor? Anna looked shocked for a moment before nodding and continuing. Yeah, her body was found last night in the woods, her throat slashed. Everyone's talking about the return of the hot lady killer. Anna sounded disturbingly excited about the prospect. I decided to indulge her. And have you come up with any theories, my dear detective? They beamed. As a matter of fact, I have. I've been making a profile of the killer in my free time based off the information and rumors I find online. It seems likely that they're a student here due to the accessibility of their victims and the dumping place of the bodies. After all, the bodies seem to be left in the woods at night, and it would be difficult to drive into school at that time without being noticed, especially with the university police patrolling the entrances at night. So I'm guessing that the killer is a student who lives in the dorms. Wow, Anna sure gathered information quickly. She must have been really passionate about this. You may be happy to see them so happy. Could it perhaps be faculty though? Depending on the time, it wouldn't be too odd seeing them drive on or off campus, especially if they had some excuse like staying late to grade papers or something. I ruled that out. See, I think whoever the hot lady killer is must be someone who came to campus last year when the killing started. They seem to portray attributes of a serial killer in which they need to continue killing to fulfill their cravings. This forms a pattern where their killings start becoming more frequent and sloppier. I think this killer hasn't reached that phase yet, but already having 2 kills with the same MO as last year's 2 kills in just a month is concerning. But the practiced way in which they execute and dispose of their victims leads me to believe that the first killing last year wasn't their first kill, period. Which means the reason why we have a serial killer case on our hands is not because someone around here snapped or something, it's because the killer came onto campus and brought their murderous habits with them. Which means that they are either a faculty member or a new student. The faculty was easy to rule out though. The school only hired a new faculty member before the first killing last year, a microbiology professor, but her alibi during the first murder was solid. She took a short weekend trip to attend a family member's wedding. There's even photo evidence on social media. Anna tapped on their phone and turned it for me to see. Sure enough, for her word, there was a carousel of wedding photos dated from November of last year. I was genuinely impressed. I couldn't believe that Anna was so thorough with her research. Once again, I was reminded just how passionate Anna was about true crime. Or perhaps it would be more accurate to say that this was probably the first time I've seen the true face of Anna's passion. So we just narrowed it down to students. She tapped her chin in thought. Pretty much. I have a few more theories that I think are worth looking into, like how many people on one end believe that the killer from an affluential family who is able to hide the crimes. I'm also hoping to find out if anyone has taken any pictures of the bodies, as being able to determine if there were any signs of struggle could help narrow down the suspects even more. Plus, I heard this rumor that a professor, oh, may she rest in peace of course, was in secret relationship with a student, but I have yet to confirm that. Damn, to think Anna was a fine arts major. Perhaps they would have been better off as a psychology major, like Jane. The thought of Jane had me smiling, my barely contained mirth from earlier coming out in full force. God, she was so dreamy. I wish she could have been part of this conversation. I wonder how she would have reacted to Anna's theories. They're roommates, so they probably got along, right? Maybe I could organize a time for all of us to hang out together. What are you smiling about? I'm thinking about Jane. Why? Why wouldn't I be thinking about Jane? It's only 4 days, 2 hours, and 7 minutes until our next date. You know, I'm glad you're happy, that you're excited. I really am. I could hear the edge in her voice. But I feel like you're moving a little too quickly. I remember how upset you were after what happened with Adam. I remember just how bad things got. I'm worried that rushing into it quickly will just end up hurting. I'm not a kid anymore, Anna. I know. I don't see you like that is to say that I don't mean to insinuate that. I know you can take care of yourself. God knows you've had all of these years. But I just worry it's kind of the person I am. And you tend to get tunnel vision. Not that I'm trying to blame you. I get it, I do. But Jane... So you have a problem with Jane then? My mood was quickly souring the more Anna spoke. What was going on with them? No, definitely not. I turned to face her fully. Look, I'm not dense. Sure, you've cautioned me several times before my past relationship, and sure, you might have some good points that I was too blinded by rosy glasses to see. And I am working to improve myself, I really am. I refrained from bragging about how I wasn't being incessantly pushy and avoided making Jane give me a dozen reassurances that our date was as fun for her as it was for me. I only asked her 5 times. Wow, what an improvement. Which was an improvement. But somehow I doubted that Anna would see it the same way. But I can't improve myself if you try to coddle me and warn me away from every relationship. I appreciate your concern, but I know there's something more than that. Never before have you cautioned me as much as you have cautioned me with Jane. So what is it with her? No, it's... fine. Yeah, I have a problem with Jane. She's my roommate, you're my best friend. It's awkward to see you together, I feel. Everyone to your seat. Just when I was about to get an answer out of Anna, a professor I didn't recognize walked into the classroom. I was guessing that he was the professor who took over our class after our previous professor was killed, since the uppity way he carried himself matched with the way he wrote the introduction email he sent to the class. Anna scrambled to sit down in the seat next to me and arranged her laptop and notes as a hush descended on the normally rowdy classroom. I gave her a look to tell her that our conversation wasn't over. On my back. Yet even after class ended, neither of us had the courage to broach the subject again. Okay. It was 10 minutes after we had agreed to meet up for our second date and resisted sending Jane a 12th message asking where she was. Jesus, slow down, lady. I thought I did everything right this time. I tamped down my eagerness. I avoided being pushy. I restricted myself to only sending Jane 20 messages a day. Wow. Forced myself to wait a full minute before I responded to her messages. I didn't even stalk her social media pages. Yet once again, I had been abandoned. It happens every time. No matter how much I loved someone, they always left me waiting for them, sad, lonely, heartbroken, humiliated. But with every time it happened, I felt this dark mass growing within me, threatening to stifle the flame I call love for good. Sometimes I want to do it so I want that darkness to coat me entirely, to snuff out my hope completely so I never felt disappointment again. But then when I found love again, I was so grateful to feel that fire blazing once more. because this hope, this love, was what made me me. It was even in my name, Camellia. The flower signified love, and my mom surely named me that because she knew that I would signify love as well. Or maybe she just saw it in a baby name book. So I kept hanging on to love, even if it left me here alone again and again. I looked at my phone, frowning when I saw no new messages. I really thought that Jay would be different. I thought that for the first time in my life I had a genuine connection with someone, that she could be the one to love me forever. The betrayal stung my chest. How could Jane be like everyone else? Anna Cautioning's words came to mind about me rushing into her quickly, and suddenly I felt a sense of clarity that I haven't felt in a long time, perhaps ever. The fire, the dark mess, even my own emotions felt muted, like I had stepped out of my body for a second. One thought slipped through, its presence foreign but powerful. Haven't I always considered my current love as the one who was different? I guess his emotions returned to me. Yes, I thought that everyone I dated was different than all the ones before. The way I felt towards Jane, the expectations I had of her wasn't new. I haven't changed. I haven't changed at all. Even now I still kept checking my phone. Even when I knew it was pointless, I still sat patiently waiting for Jane to arrive. Even though I was so frustrated with myself, I still couldn't change my ways. So I waited. Every minute I would tell myself I would wait only one more minute longer before I left, but I would make the same promise the next minute, until an agonizing 2 hours passed. This was awful, to think that things were over between us even before we officially started going out. This had to be a new record of mine. I sighed. This was seriously it. I needed to stop waiting for her. It was over between me and Jane. I had to let her go. But as soon as I stood up, my phone started ringing. I looked at the caller ID. Jane? I answered immediately. Hello? Hey, thanks for picking up right away. My heart was pounding in my ears. There was a lot of background noise, but I could clearly hear that it was Jane. She sounded almost exhausted. So sorry, I wasn't able to make it to our date. I was called in for a last-minute shift at work and didn't have the opportunity to contact you before this. My shoulders slumped down, all the tension that was holding me upright leaving my body. So Jane didn't stand me out, she was just busy. That's okay. I hope things are alright with you. Yeah, we were absolutely swamped today with things. Are finally starting to calm down so I can leave soon. I totally understand if you don't want to, but if you wanted to go on a shorter date, I'll be getting off in about 30 minutes. Jane really was different after all. I could feel my chest filling with elation. Yes, I'd love to. Cool. I work at the campus bar if you wanted to meet me there in half an hour. I'll head there right away. I hung up and made my way over to the campus bar with a skip in my step. I'm glad I didn't give up on Jane. It must have been this guiding flame of love in my chest telling me that she was the right choice. I didn't need to search any longer. Jane truly was the one for me. Hey, sorry to keep you waiting. Several minutes after I walked into the campus bar, Jane stepped away from the back smelling friendly of cheap beer and bar food. Even that sent my heart fluttering. It's no problem at all. Now I feel really bad about it. I want to make it up to you. Jane stepped over closer to me and suddenly I could feel my heartbeat in my throat. Ooh yeah. Yeah, I feel sort of a connection with you. A special one. One I haven't felt with anyone else. I couldn't breathe. I must have been dreaming. Jane really felt the same way that I did. I want to show you my favorite place on campus. A place I haven't shown anyone else. Oh my god, I really was special to her. I really was that lucky. But it takes a while to get there. I don't want to interrupt the plans you've made for this day. So it's up to you if you'd like to go or not. Save here. Let's go right now because we're such an idiot. We're falling for her trap. We are going to certain death. Opening the gates of hell. Let's go right now. Wow, I love the enthusiasm. Oh my god, she said she loves me. I'll lead the way then. Yay. Jane led me out to the administrative building and past a short walk outside between it and the theater building. Despite fall officially starting a handful of days ago, the weather was still scorching. I could feel myself sweating after just a minute of walking outside. My hot skin immediately felt refreshed when we walked into the theater building and the AC blasted me with a pleasant cold. I looked around with curiosity at the entrance. This was my first time going in the theater building. I expected it to be as decorated as the art building was, but aside from a corkboard of upcoming events, it was mostly barren of personality. The building itself seemed to be a bit in the older side, and I even spotted an old school bell in the entrance. The path there can be a little confusing, so pay attention. At Jane's words, my attention focused on her and the route she was taking me through. In the route. At the entrance, we took a left before descending down a flight of dimly lit stairs. The basement level was dark, and I was tempted to ask Jane if we were even allowed down here. But Jane looked confident, like she knew this place as well as her own house, so I quietly followed her. After making our way left from the stairs, we took another left, then right, then another right, then finally one more right before we were faced with a small flight of stairs leading down into a plain, unadorned door. Jane stopped in front of the door. "This is it. Remember the way." I nodded. From the entrance, take a left, then take the stairs down, then a left, another left, 3 rights, and then so we got 1 left, 1 stair, 2 lefts, 3 rights, and then we are here at this door. I'm afraid I should remember these directions in case I needed it for later. Well, when we're escaping. Jane smiled and opened the door. "After you, then." I walked here slowly, the room too dark for me to be confident with my footing. From behind me, Jane flicked on a light, and a singular dim light bulb flickered on. My eyes took a second to adjust to the lighting, but when I did, I noticed a wide room with many half-finished set pieces, tarps, paints, ladders, and art supplies pushed into the corners. In the middle of the room where I was standing was rather clear, but the air smelled of stale dust as if this room wasn't used much. "What is this place?" "It's a storage room for the theater." Jane pointed up at the plain ceiling. "This is right below the theater stage orchestra." "This is right below the stage theater, actually." I gasped. Wow, I had no idea this was even here. Yeah, not many people seem to know about this place. I don't even know if theater majors know about this place. I haven't really seen anyone enter here in a while. Well, except for maybe the occasional janitor. I glanced around again. I suppose that explained the dust, though the reason why it wasn't caked in dust must have been because of the janitors, or perhaps even Jane. "How often do you come here?" Jane shrugged. "More than I'd like to admit." She stepped closer to me and leaned down, her face covering my entire vision. "This place is sort of a sanctuary for me. I come here to be alone, to think, to escape." Something lit up in those piercing blue eyes of hers, and I was tempted to ask her about it. To ask about her thoughts, her worries, her desires, what she felt like she needed to escape from. To ask why she would bring me to such a personal place of hers. What led her to be so vulnerable with me? But then I imagined those eyes of hers shuddering at my prying never to let me in again, and I lost my nerve. "How did you find this place?" Jane leaned back and I suddenly could breathe again. My grandparents were some of the people originally paid for the school to be built. This building's the oldest one on campus, and I've been exploring here since I could walk. There probably isn't a place in this building that I don't know about. Do you have any other cool spots? Oh, absolutely. Just when I was about to ask her to show them to me, she frowned. But I should probably get back to the dorm and get cleaned up. I still smell like the bar. No. Somehow I felt like ending things like this would be bad. Like maybe I screwed up something and Jane lost all interest in me. But how could I turn it around? How could I fix this? So next time. Definitely. And after our amazingly successful second date, Jane and I have been talking more than ever. Every day we message each other about our days, hobbies, and interests. When we have class together, we always sit next to each other and chat before and after class. Now that I knew where Jane worked, I couldn't help stopping by to watch her work ever so often. She looks so mature when she's working. I was once again reminded of how just lucky I was Jane ever agreed to start seeing me in the first place. And now every day was so much more beautiful for it. Jane turned slightly, and from her smirk, I could see that she noticed me. She finished talking with the customer she was helping and turned in my direction, starting to walk towards me when I'm so confused. Anna appeared out of nowhere, plopping down the chair across from me. I frowned. What are you doing here, Anna? They looked confused. We promised to study for midterms together, did you forget? Oh, I did promise that. It did seem something that I would do and subsequently forget. But my mind has been so full of Jane that I couldn't recall when I made that promise or what. Right. From the corner of my eye, I could see Jane give me an awkward smile and walk back to the bar counter. Damn it, Anna. You totally forgot, didn't you? Well, I remember now, so I kept glancing at Jane by the counter. That's the important part. Jane met my eyes, a slow smile gracing her lips. Right. What are you looking at? Anna started to turn around. More importantly, what has you confused? She regarded me with blatant suspicion, but the topic must have been one that she was eager to talk about since she quickly started rambling. There's been another murder. Another murder? I guess I missed it, since I have been on 1M much after things really hit it off with Jane. But something is off about it. Couldn't help glancing Jane's way again. How so? Well, the signature is remarkably similar to the hot lady killer, but the MO is different. Instead of slitting their victims' throats, they stabbed them 3 times to be exact. Once in the leg, once in the hand, and the final killing blow in the throat. Yet everything else about the murder is the exact same. And I was silent for a moment as they thought. Though I suppose the police seem to be taking this particular case a bit more seriously. They're actually questioning people and started to patrol the campus a lot more regularly now at least. Some suspect that the lady hot killer is getting sloppy, others think it may be a copycat or an acquaintance. But none of those theories are really sticking for me. Jane walked into the back room of the bar, which cleared my head enough to start paying full attention to Anna. Why do you say that? She hummed in thought. I mean, it could very well be that I watch too many crime shows, but the sound of his kill feels almost mismatched. Like the serial killer was forced to set the body up to look like the hot lady killer for some reason. I'm just trying to figure out why. I'm wondering if it might have something to do with our late professor. I look into the dating student rumors. Jane walked out the back room, her jacket slung over her shoulder. She winked at me and nodded her head at the exit. Was she asking me to leave with her? Blah blah blah. Jane walked out of the bar and I stood up, eager to follow her. Camille, what's up? I have to go. Where? Do you need help? I smiled. Nope, definitely don't need help. But what about our study session? Rain check. Huh? Anna stood up as well, and for some reason she looked angry. This is about Jane, isn't it? I glanced at the exit again, upset to see that Jane was far too down the hall for me to see anymore. Impatience and Anna's accusations sourced my stomach. I don't see how that's any of your business. It is my business when you get so caught up in your obsession that you start flaking out on me. I sighed, rubbing my temples. Not this shit again. Look, I value you as a friend. I do. But you need to get the fuck out of my love life. How could you say that? I've been nothing but concerned about you, but you're the one who keeps pushing me away. Whatever, I wasn't dealing with this right now. I turned away and walked towards the exit, intent on ignoring Anna, just like I was ignoring all the people who were staring at us. Man, Camilla is such a bitch. Unfortunately, Anna was following me. Listen to me, Camelia. I'm trying to help you. I turned on her and stepped closer. Closer? Even closer. I didn't stop until I was so close that our noses were inches from touching. I knew Anna was comfortable with anyone getting this close to them, but in my rage, I couldn't bring myself to care. Anna, for her credit, didn't step away either. You want to help me? I kept the question light. It would have sounded casual if not for the way I was leaning into her space. Anna looked hesitant but nodded. Then leave me the fuck alone. And then I left. This time Anna didn't follow me. I was still fuming as I made my way down the hall, but I shook my head, reminding myself to focus on finding Jane. She clearly wanted me to follow her, so that meant she must be somewhere that I'd know. Considering that she headed in the direction of the theater building, I had a good feeling that she went to her favorite place. Oh, my back. I reviewed the directions in my head as I stepped out of the administrative building. From the entrance, take a left, take the stairs down, then a left. Another left, 3 rights. Wait, what? 3 lefts? Take a left, and then stairs down, another left, and then so 3 lefts, 3 rights, and then the storeroom was down a flight of stairs. Just as I placed my hand on the door to the entrance, I heard some sort of groaning to my right, near the woods were on campus. I glanced over. It was dark, but I could make out the silhouettes of 2 people entwined by the tree and held back a gag. Disgusting. Were they serious fucking... What? Were they serious? Were they seriously fucking in public? There you go. That's gross. But then one of them collapsed and stopped moving. The remaining figures seemed to notice me as they stepped forward. Suddenly, Anna's ramblings about a second killer entered my head, and I yanked open the entrance and ran. My brain felt foggy from my panic, but I could hear someone running behind me. Shit, I needed to get beneath the stage fast. But the fear and adrenaline was making it hard for me to remember which way I needed to go. From the entrance I needed to go... What if I go right? Dead. I rounded the corner only to see a long hallway with just a single door at the end. A dead end. I reared back. Shit. Unfortunately, my pursuers sounded closer than ever, their footsteps whispering against my ears. I didn't have the time to turn back. I ran forward, hoping that the door was open and that I might be able to lock myself inside, but as soon as I reached the door, my hope shattered. It wouldn't budge. It was locked. No, no, no. Suddenly, I felt a burning pain in my leg and collapsed, screaming. I looked down to see some sort of red liquid pouring out on my skin. Blood. The footsteps slowed down, perhaps realizing that I was cornered. Now they were just playing with their prey. I grasped onto the door with shaky hands. If only I could open the door, then I could escape. Then I could see Jane again. Ow. But as soon as my right hand gripped the handle, something seared it, the pain making my vision black out for a blessed second. When I could see again, I noticed something sticking out of my hand. A knife. I screamed again. The person behind me continued walking forward. I tried to crawl away, but all the blood was making my hand slip. Damn it, I needed to escape. I couldn't be killed here. The person started speaking, but I struggled to listen through the pain. It's you, Camellia, so it's Anna? How did they know my name? The voice sounded familiar, but my brain was struggling to keep up as I grasped at the door with my uninjured hand. I needed to escape. I needed to get out of here. After you, me, I dreamed about for a long time. Now I can finally. The pain was starting to fade away as the burning pain of my wounds was replaced with an inescapable chill. It was at that moment that I accepted that I was going to die. But I at least wanted to know who killed me. I struggled to keep my eyes open as I tilted my head back, but I only caught a tuft of dark hair before a hand covered my eyes. We could have had everything, but it's far too late now. Goodbye, Camellia. The pain returned, but in my throat this time, I lost all senses, like the string snapping on a marionette. One final thought entered my head. Jane, before it too disappeared. Ending if happy ever afters did exist. Alright. Let's go left. What if I go right again though? What if I stay on this floor? I backed away from the stairs and turned a random direction at the nearest fork. Can I skip this part? Is it the same? Yep, it is the same. Alright. Fair enough. Let's see. Go down. I barreled down the stairs, gaining just a bit of distance between me and my pursuer. Hooray. Yet they didn't seem to be slowing down. I came across another fork. I wonder what would happen if I go to the right again. Is it the same? Skip. Oh yeah, same thing. Let's just load it up again. Go left. My chest burned as I ran, but I didn't dare slow down even when I reached the next turn. Left again. The basic floor in the theater building almost seemed like a maze, and I hoped that meant the person chasing me would get lost. Still, I heard footsteps following me, so I didn't slow down. Next turn. I forget. I think we've already done 2 lefts, right? So we have to go to another left. Nope. So we go 3 rights this time. My legs were burning, my lack of exercise starting to catch up with me. I slowed down for a second, but as soon as I heard someone, my pursuer, running behind me, I sped back up. Soon enough, I came across the next fork. Second right. The pursuer seemed to be getting further away. There was just one more turn left before I got to the room beneath the stage. And then I didn't know, I couldn't think about it. I came to the final fork and turned right. I shot around the corner but forgot about the stairs right after the turn, my foot slipping on the edge of the stairs. Shit! I swore as I tumbled down the stairs, my knees stinging. I took a second to make sure nothing was broken before I attempted to get up. Are you okay? Someone touched my shoulder and I screamed, scrambling backwards. But when I turned towards what I assumed was my pursuer, I was met with a familiar face. Jane! That's me, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I couldn't hold it in. I jumped and hugged her, around the waist. Thank God it's you. All the panic, all the fear, all the stress melted away as I held her. Her warmth was chasing away the chill that was on my heels during the pursuit. What's wrong? I let her go and stepped away, worried that I might have crossed some boundaries by touching her without permission like that. But Jane didn't seem upset, she just looked worried. It was him, it was the hot lady killer. I saw him, then he chased me, and then Calm down, take a deep breath, and start from the beginning. I sucked in a shaky breath, and then another, and then one more for good measure before I launched into a recounting of what happened since I witnessed that murder. At the end, Jane looked confused. I've been down here for a while waiting for you, but I haven't seen anyone else. I caught sight of you running, but I didn't see anyone chasing you or anything. But that's impossible, I heard him. I saw him. When you saw this murder, you said that it looked dark, right? Are you sure it was a murder you were witnessing, or did you see blood? Did you check to see if the person on the ground wasn't breathing? Well, no, I needed to escape, so I couldn't really. Then how can you know for sure? Maybe it was just you originally thought, and they were being intimate. Perhaps their partner collapsed and they were reaching out to you for help. Oh, I never considered that. That could be it. If that was the case, then I felt awful. Completely overreacted just because my paranoia got the best of me. I sighed. This is all because of that hot lady killer. Don't tell me you believe that killer is real. I blinked up at her confused. Isn't he? Jane shook her head. Nothing's been confirmed. Not even the bodies that people online claim were found have been confirmed by the police. What? But they have. Even one of my professors was killed. Are you certain she didn't just ditch town? I suppose she had a point. I never went out of my way to confirm anything. I just took everything what I saw on 1M and heard from Anna as a fact. Why else do you think the police aren't making a big deal out of it? There's not anything to make a deal out of it. But what about all the posts? I wouldn't think that there would be smoke without fire. Jane shrugged. A bunch of bored people in a small town making up rumors to have something to talk about. It's how ghost stories and urban myths are created. Lots of people agree to lie about something to distract you from how boring regular life is. When she put it like that, I was inclined to agree. Oh man, sorry fellas. I have to end it here because I have to prepare for work now. This is really so good, man. So this is Caught in Your Web. If you want to try the game for yourselves, the links are in the description. That is all for today. Stay safe and take care of yourselves. I wonder... It's Anna. It's Anna. Actually, I'm placing my money on both. Both Jane and Anna are murderers.